Elon Musk sent shockwaves through the Capitol.
We got to get this done because here's the key.
That anyone who votes yes should lose their office in 2 years.
We don't normally like what's called a continuing resolution, a CR, but in this case it makes sense.
This is more than interest. They're telling people if they vote yes, they should be voted out.
The fact is, this is a sandwich.
Lawmakers are scrambling.
In this video today, Elon Musk shares a chilling warning to members of Congress after chaos has erupted over the Continuing Resolution Act of 2025. What is that? That is the funding bill for the next 3 months. And of course, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is catching heat for this. Here he is on Fox News explaining himself. Watch.
Elon Musk, the world's richest man, just tweeted this bill should not pass. The only way you're going to be able to pass it now, Mr. Speaker, is with Democrats. If you could, what's your message to Elon Musk?
Well, I was communicating with Elon last night. Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together, and I was explaining to them the background of this. And Vivek and I talked last night about almost midnight, and he said, look, I get it. He said, we understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor-thin margin of Republicans, so any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. I said, guess what, fellas? I don't either.
So my only reaction to Speaker Johnson at this moment is, why don't you grow some balls and not do this? Why don't you hold your promise? Why don't you just pass a single subject issue bill? Why are you continuing to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again? I mean, he's asking to lose his job. But wait, he's got a great excuse on why we need to do this. Watch.
We got to get this done because here's the key. By doing this, we are clearing the decks and we are setting up for Trump to come in roaring back with the America First agenda. That's what we're going to run with gusto beginning January 3rd when we start the new Congress, when Republicans, again, are in control. And all of our fiscal conservative friends, I'm one of them, will be able to finally do the things that we've been wanting to do for the last couple of years. Right now, Democrats still control the pens, and that's the problem. So we got to get this thing done so we don't have the shutdown, so we get the short-term funding measure, and we get to March where we can put our fingerprints on the spending. That's when the big changes start, and we can't wait to get there.
So the problem is this. Why is Speaker Mike Johnson not introducing a single subject bill? Meaning we are going to bring a bill to the floor that is only about one issue, not 1,000 different issues. This is why nothing ever gets done in Congress, because they always tried to cram all this stuff in that nobody can agree to. And then, of course, on X, here's his other explanation about this. Republicans cannot allow millions of Americans devastated by the historic hurricane season or struggling farmers go without the help they desperately need. We will decide FY25 spending in March when Trump is back in the White House and Republicans control the Senate and House. Let me just explain it this way. Mike Johnson wants to kick it down the road, right? And the problem with this is, like, someone says, you know what, I'm done drinking alcohol. And then they come to you and say, hey, well, wait a minute. I just need to continue to drink for 3 more months and then I will stop. You're going to look at them crazy and say, wait a minute, I thought you said you were going to stop, right? And that's the problem with our government. They keep saying what they will do, and of course, they never do it. And here's the fatal mistake, and this is actually a life lesson for people out there. When you make a decision, you move into action now. Not, well, I'm going to decide to get healthier, but I'm going to wait till January 1st and then start. Yeah, but when January 1st comes around, you'll find another excuse. And that's exactly what's taking place here. They either need to commit and move into action now, stop trying to pass these bills that have 1,000 issues in them, or they're not going to do it. That's just as simple as I can make it. Now, before I actually get to what Elon Musk had to say, and he said a lot about this bill so far, here's a great summary of what's wrong with this bill exactly. Number 1, funding for alleged censorship operations. The bill supports government agencies involved in what they consider to be illegal censorship. Number 2, excessive spending. The bill supports many unnecessary expenditures to gain political support. Number 3, lack of transparency. The bill's complexity and length are seen as a mechanism to hide details from the public and legislative review. Number 4 includes policy bills. The bill bundles other policy changes within the funding bill, making it a way to pass controversial policies, hiding it under the radar. And number 5, redundant government programs. The bill supports funding for many programs that are redundant and overlap, something DOJ is trying to get rid of. And this bill, ladies and gentlemen, is 1,547 pages long, and this has to be passed by Friday to prevent a government government shutdown. The bottom line is what? Say no to this bill. And of course, everybody could go look this bill up for themselves. So of course, Vivek Ramaswamy read the entire bill, all 1,500 pages of it. And here's what he had to say. Having done that, here's my view. It's full of excessive spending, special interest giveaways, and pork barrel politics. If Congress wants to get serious about government efficiency, they should vote no on this. He also ends what he had to say by saying this: we're grateful for Doge's warm reception on Capitol Hill. Nearly everyone agrees we need a smaller and more streamlined federal government, but actions speak louder than words. This is an early test. The bill should fail. Now we'll get to what Elon Musk had to say, and it was a lot. Here's the first bombshell announcement that he wrote. No bill should be passed by Congress until January 20th when President-elect Trump takes office. None. Zero. And then here's the post that is now triggering chaos. He writes this: any member of the House or Senate who votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years. So he's pretty much putting them on notice. And I'm sure President-elect Trump is sitting back just laughing, because how else are these individuals going to be held accountable, right? When was the last time in history where someone had this type of influence, could call them out, read the bill, call bullshit, and absolutely put pressure on them to do the right thing? And then Vivek obviously offering a solution. Here's what he said. Yes, it is possible to enact a simple one-page continuing resolution instead of 1,500 pages omnibus pork fest. Here it is. And he obviously includes the very first page of the actual resolution. And here's Congressman Thomas Massey calling out Speaker Johnson. And there's so many others that are going after him, which we will show you here shortly. But here's what he said. People call me Nostradamus for accurately predicting that Speaker Johnson would use the Christmas recess to force a massive spending bill through Congress. After claiming he would not, Johnson is embracing a DC tradition that's nearly as old as decorating Christmas trees. And here's the actual clip of Mike Johnson saying that he wouldn't do this. Let's listen to that really quickly.
We have broken the Christmas omni, and I have no intention of going back to that terrible tradition. So there won't be a Christmas omnibus. As somebody asked me in the hallway a little while ago, will there be many buses? We don't want any buses. We're not going to do any buses, okay?
And Benny Johnson on X posted this, highlighting a key issue with this bill, which is why it points to the issue. Why are you guys including all of this craziness inside a funding bill? He writes, breaking a new provision in the latest CR lets Congress block subpoenas for House data, including emails, potentially preventing any investigation into the January 6th committee. So we already know where this is going, right? They're trying to stuff things into this bill to prevent Trump or Kash Patel or Pam Bondi from holding people accountable. Now let's just take a moment. If you guys are getting value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you do want to support us further, go to the link in the description below, shop our merch store, or you can buy us a cup of coffee. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy was not finished ripping this bill. In fact, he posted a video summing up other issues that are now going viral on social media and getting a lot of backlash. Let's take a look at it.
Congress is about to pass a bill that blows away your taxpayer money, but they made it over 1,500 pages long so you wouldn't read it. I did you a favor. I read it for you. It's supposed to be about keeping government operations open and providing disaster relief aid to hurricane victims, which I'm sympathetic to. But if you read the bill carefully, it contains pay raises for members of Congress, and I'm not making this up, an expansion of their federal health benefits. It contains all kinds of special interests and pork funding, including opening up a new stadium in Washington, D.C. It renews the Global Engagement Center, which is a key node of the censorship industrial complex. And the worst part is, they didn't want you to know about any of it, and that's why they made this a last-minute jam job. The reason I'm co-heading Doge is I think we need outsiders to bring actual accountability to Washington, D.C. So feel free to call your congressman and let him know how you feel about it.
So needless to say, this will be the first test on how serious Republicans are in particular to Doge and the influence and impact from Vivek and Elon Musk, because this is a sticking point. Will they continue to do the same, or will they finally change course and do the right thing? Now, he did mention an issue that is going viral, which is the pay raise for our congressmen and women. And here is a clip from one of them being shocked that they were receiving a pay raise and then flipping it back on the media. Check this out.
Do you guys deserve a pay raise?
Well, that's news to me. It's good news. You know, what has it been, 10 years or 14 years and no COLA, no change at all? I think it's about time something's done.
You support giving yourselves a pay raise?
How would I not know about a pay raise?
But I mean, people look at the performance of Congress and say, why should we give them more money?
What about the media? Think about that for a second.
And we're not paid by public money.
I know you're not, but I mean, half of your listeners are not there anymore. You're still getting the same paycheck? What's going on?
Well, I mean, you're taxpayer money. I mean, you guys deserve a raise. And Durbin essentially said that, yes, they should give themselves a raise. And what also is noticeable, though, to Jim, he wasn't aware that this was in the provision. Yeah. And he's the number 2 Senate Democrat. Just shows you how this was negotiated among a handful of members, and they're going to have to vote on this. And members really won't have time to read it either, Jim.
And here's part of the details, right? We knew they were going to bury this in the 1,500-page spending bill, but it amounts to an actual 40% pay increase. Members of Congress' salary currently is $174,000, and it would increase to $243,000 per year. Now, obviously, depending on how you feel about it, it comes down to this. For what? Selling us out, right? Not doing your job, continuing to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again, but expecting a different result. I mean, we're talking about a Congress that is filled with insanity with the way that they operate. And of course, Elon Musk also commented on this. He said, how can this be called a continuing resolution if it includes a 40% pay increase for Congress? Guys, the bottom line to this entire story, this is a dumpster fire, and this is going to be a true test on how serious our elected leaders are on doing things differently. And now Fox News is reporting because of the pressure from Elon Musk, he might have just killed that bill. Check this out.
We're told right now in the past 30 or 40 minutes here that they might try to pull this interim spending bill off the floor and maybe just go with a clean bill. Unclear what that means for disaster assistance. Here's what happened. A post on X by Elon Musk sent shockwaves through the Capitol. House Republicans were trying to see if they have enough votes to pass the spending bill in the next hour or two. Musk posted that anyone who votes yes should lose their office in 2 years, and lawmakers are scrambling.
The tweets from Musk, has that complicated this?
Well, I mean, I think that there's always a lot of interest in what's happening up here, and
this is more than interest. They're telling people if they vote yes, they should be voted out.
The social media world is a part of our politics, and I think members have to expect that. And there'll be a lot of hard votes in the next couple of years.
What we're witnessing in real time is the changing landscape of American politics. Remember, it used to be the days of where politicians could do whatever they really wanted to do and nobody would ever know. We would never even have an idea. Due to someone like Trump and the rise of populism, transparency is in high demand these days, backed up with social media and obviously independent journalists. And also these congressmen understand the power of social media, and they can't have it both ways. You can't hide what you're doing from the public and then expect them to believe what you say and vote for you. That isn't going to happen moving forward anymore.
A member of the House Republican leadership told Fox that Musk is not helping. The lawmaker added that Musk has bigger fish to fry than picking a fight with House Republicans. One source said the bill is now bleeding support from the GOP. When asked how many Democrats the GOP needs to pass the bill, a senior aide replied, quote, a lot. Lawmakers who had hurricanes devastate their districts are torn.
The fact is that, look, this is a sandwich. I don't know how else to say that. We're being forced into this position. They could have done a standalone. They did this because they knew that it would put members in this position to support it. We're damned if we do. We're damned if we don't.
So my only conclusion on all of this, guys, besides what I told you earlier, which is this is a freaking dumpster fire, of course, is that common sense is lacking in politics, right? You would think by now Mike Johnson would have learned his lesson. Don't do this again. But clearly he's gone back on his word. He deserves the criticism. You promised you wouldn't do it. You're doing it again. So what do you expect, right? We are in the season of true accountability and cutting the waste from what's happening in Washington. You can't pull a move like this and expect you're going to remain the Speaker of the House, because remember, guys, there will be a vote for Mike Johnson in January here to see if he's going to run the 119th Congress, and it's not looking good right now. And of course, the pushback of what I'm saying is, well, DeVore, we need to fund this disaster relief. We need to fund this. Okay, fine, let's fund it, but make sure we are bringing those funding issues on separate bills. Don't cram it all together. And here is Trump telling Fox News that he is totally no on this bill. Watch.
In the last couple of minutes, Donald Trump has told Fox News he is, quote, totally against the proposed continuing resolution bill that has just been floated by Congress. And a lot of people haven't had a chance to read it. It's more than 1,700 pages. But that spending bill is not sitting well with the president-elect. Again, please keep in mind that the House is controlled by Republicans. So this is engendering a lot of Sturm und Drang at the moment.
Okay, well, at this point, we could probably guess that this bill is dead. And it's just only a matter of time until Mike Johnson obviously comes out and says that publicly. I don't see how this is even going to pass. I mean, if he really does push forward with this and brings it to a vote, I really do believe he's out as Speaker of the House, meaning when it comes up to vote for him on the 119th Congress, he's not going to have that support, because time and time again, at the most toughest moments, he's always bowed out and did what the establishment wanted to do. So he deserves the consequences. So in the comment section below, I want you guys to answer me this. What is your direct message to Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House? What would you want him to know about how you feel about him trying to push this continuing resolution to a vote? It's bloated. We know it's not really going to pass. There's too many nonsense in it. It's not a single subject issue bill. He promised he wouldn't do it. He's doing it again. Let me know what your thoughts are and more in the comment section below. Now, Elon Musk is continuing to show how powerful and influential he is. And yesterday we dropped a story where he has declared war on the deep state as they continue to try to investigate him and his companies. Now, they were not expecting what he had to say in return. So if you guys want to check out that story and more, all you have to do is click on it because it's coming up right now.